What is going on, everyone? Tim from Tierfon Orbital. Today is going to be a relatively quick demo video for an install that I completed on an Ocularis. It's another Ocularis video. So I installed this particular Ocularis with the hybrid brass and MJF nylon chassis that I designed for this particular hilt. This hilt was etched by Josh Gamble. There is also a very keenly machined window in the grip of this hilt that will show off the crystal chamber in the chassis. I have done a hilt like this before. I think Carl from Vaults of Valhalla did a window like this before. So I think that is a really, really cool feature to help show off the crystal chamber in the chassis. But the etch on this is a Kintsugi type of an etch. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But it is a really, really beautiful and unique type of etch, right? So we're not going to come into fusion this time. I think I've done that to death in going over this particular chassis. So we're not going to come into fusion. However, I do want to come up top and talk about how to use the chassis. We will talk a little bit more about the hilt itself. And then, of course, we will do a demo, talk a little bit about how to use the hilt, how to navigate Proffie, and then we will be on our way, right? So let's come up top. Okay, so here it is. This is an Ocularis from Ignition Saber Company. It was designed by Azys Workshop. Awesome hilt. I mean, I'm not going to say it anymore. I mean, I say it in every video. It's an amazing hilt. It's a beautiful hilt. It's a great blank canvas hilt for modifications and etching, which is what was done to this hilt in particular, right? So this hilt was etched by Josh Gamble. It was done in a Kintsugi pattern, right? So Kintsugi is a type of artwork, Japanese artwork, where you take broken pottery. I hope I'm getting this correctly. I actually didn't do any research, but I do know this from I've seen this in the past, right? It's broken pottery that is then put back together with either like a metal, like some gold or silver. It is then put back together. So that is what these patterns are in these cracked surfaces in the hilt. And I think that is a really, really unique take on an etch, right? And then, of course, we've got a really, really beautiful etch in the grip. Nice, deep, deep etch, too. I've seen some of Josh's stuff come across my desk. And it's really, really quality stuff. Really, really interesting and unique etch work from him, right? So I am actually not sure if I didn't do my homework on which is par for the course for me, but I did not do my homework. I'm not sure if it was Josh who did the machined window here or not, but I do think that is a great way to showcase and get a closer look at the crystal chamber while the grip is still on, right? But other than that, great looking hilt, right? I'm assuming that some of these patinas here was done with surfing, right? So we've got some bronzing on some of these inner shrouds and inner rings, but other than that, great hilt, right? So, and then of course we've got our Noah Drew marble in that upper eye chamber, okay? So to get at your chassis, you want to loosen that knurled thumb screw there. Twist your grip. Grip will come off. So I have weathered this brass crystal chamber piece at the request of the customer. The MJF nylon main chassis was also weathered with some pewter and onyx rub and buff. And then I sealed it, okay? And that is it, right? So here's our Proffie board. Kill switch is down in here. We have a 28 millimeter dark side bass speaker that is from Smuggler's Outpost. The sterling silver probes were left as is, obviously. The crystals were done at the request of the customer as well, and I got these crystals at as a recommendation from Solo Sabers. Jeremy does use these crystals a lot in his builds, and he did this in one of his recent crystal chamber builds, and I really, really liked how cloudy they were. They do provide a significant amount of diffusion. I really like the way these look, and the customer actually did specifically ask for crystals like this, and he wanted them pointing at one another, right? So we've got two. Essentially, this was just one crystal that I broke and put one pointing, the tips pointing at one another, just the tip. And those are lit with one single neopixel from above and below. Okay. And that's it. So let's get a battery. So in this build, the spring side is your negative. Spring side should always be your negative. So spring side is towards your speaker, right? So take the flat part. Take the flat part of your battery, put it down towards the speaker. Hit your kill switch.
5 standing by.
So there's our crystal chamber lit. I have also obviously lit the upper eye chamber with 2 neopixels above and below. This has been set up as a sub-blade in the config, right? So we've got one data line and power all the way up to these neopixels, and then that continues up to your main PCB blade, right? Or blade PCB, rather. And then you're good to go. So once you have your battery in, you can put your grip in place, tighten your thumb screw, and then you're good to go. So I love that feature of having that window there with the crystal chamber. That is great. All right. So let's come down to the bottom. So let's hope this is in frame. There is that exposed crystal chamber in the grip. Awesome feature. Great idea. Okay. So if you are looking at your switches, the top switch is your main, bottom is your aux. To scroll through your fonts, you want to, while the blade is pointing up, you want to hit aux. That will scroll through your font config. To scroll backwards, you want to point your blade down and hit your aux button, okay? Twist to activate, twist to deactivate are all on. Let's put a blade in it. So this is a 1-inch blade holder. As I step on my dog. So this is a 1-inch blade holder. We have a handy knurled thumb screw in the front here that will also serve as your blade retention. So rest your blade on those PCB pins, tighten that thumb screw, and you are good to go. Here's that crystal chamber again. I tried to switch up the color of the crystal chamber with each font.
What is it?
Let's see what else we put on here.
I am no Jedi.
One more. So this has also been set up with color wheel or color change. To access that, you want to hold down aux and tap main. You're going to hear that audible cue. Then you want to rotate the blade. When you find a color you like, you want to just tap main again, and it will lock that color in. Great hilt. All right. One more. So that is it. That is the Ocularis, etched by Josh Gamble. Beautiful, very unique etch on this one. Then, of course, that exposed crystal chamber in the grip there. That is an awesome, awesome idea, right? So I love installing these hilts. I've done quite a number of them, and they are always a lot of fun doing so, or installing. So to the customer, thank you very much for trusting me with your hilt. Thank you for your patience. If anyone has any questions about this install or anything really, please do not be a stranger. And with that being said, may the force be with you always. Have a good one, everybody.